For several months now, the TF2 community has had to deal with one harrowing question, the matter of matchmaking. To those who are unaware of what this is centered around, Team Fortress 2 was first designed for players to directly join servers. This was, over time, evolved into the final iteration of Quick Play and was removed in the Meet Your Match update, which introduced skill-based matchmaking. Notably, this update removed many beloved features of the Quick Play rule set that are deeply missing in modern TF2. Now, this video is not intended to educate you on these features or why they were so ingrained into the experience. It's simply to make a point about the movement. We need unity. This movement has irreparably been fractured by TF2's propensity towards forming factions. That would be, does TF2 benefit more from a reversion to quick play or an overhaul of matchmaking? This is simply not what we need. There is a desire from both sides to achieve one thing, and without unity, this is never going to force Valve's hand. They are a company that is by all means willing to sit and do nothing. The bot crisis was allowed to exist for 8 years. That cannot be understated. What ended this was not Valve picking up the hammer to please our community, but a contractor who voluntarily offered to fix their game for them. This is on top of muting free-to-plays, ignoring the majority of the criticism for the new rule set when it first released. Valve is not a company that will do something unless something major wakes them up from their throne of complacency. And then, what we are doing now is not a coordinated movement to one direction addressed to the developers of the game, but a never-ending debate between the big TF2 clans. There is simply no incentive for Valve, a company so centered on keeping itself in the goodwill of its consumer base and minimizing its workload, to delve into this vitriol of clashing ideas and find the most well-liked option to implement. As it is, this is not a discussion on how to best reach Valve, but a space to advocate one person or another's ideals for the game. This has a valid place, but it absolutely does not in a serious effort to coordinate pressure onto Valve. Leave it to Valve to decide if they don't want to walk back matchmaking, or if one way is more cost-effective. We are not spokesmen for the company. Valve will do what it feels like doing. This is the company we know. Their policy is seen in Counter-Strike, Half-Life, and even in TF2 already. We simply cannot control what Valve does and must rely on unity to make Valve move. That means focusing on the principles we all agree on. 45-minute server timers, team scrambling, team switching, ad hoc connections, and standing maps. These are the demands we should immediately begin advocating for. I may believe quick play is the best path forward, but it is simply irrelevant to this cause. If we offer conflicting instructions to Valve, they are simply going to take the path of least resistance, which has been shown repeatedly to be withdrawing themselves from any work on the game. Without accountability, nothing will be accomplished. We all have different ideals, but they must be sacrificed to achieve a unity that can overcome Valve's negligence. Now, the idea of a potential compromise will seem completely unreasonable to some people. However, the only realistic way that Valve follows through is if the popular representatives of the community are all on board. This is not about voiding your ideals and accepting this is right for the game. It is simply finding the most likely way to create positive change. So I implore the entire TF2 community to unite for the change we all so dearly desire out of the game. The two most important parts in solidifying this movement is discussion and boycotting. Continuing to be vocal in our aforementioned demands for TF2 is crucial to get Valve to care about the game. If a large majority of the player base is expressing their dissatisfaction with the current rule set, it looks bad on Valve's end and, more importantly, raises support for the cause. We need players refusing to buy from the Manco store. Hell, boycott Steam if you really believe this is what is needed for the game. I am not asking that you harass anybody that financially supports Valve, but rather that you persuade them to leverage action with money. Yet one of the largest criticisms of a boycott remains that Steam and CS make too much money for the player base's boycott to matter. But include this in your thoughts. What sane company would willingly ignore a job that would cost a couple dozen of dollars and hours, but save tens of thousands worth of revenue, increase engagement with your product, as well as strengthening your reputation? Valve is a multi-billion-dollar company. It is clear that their profits are very deliberately optimized. It's for this exact reason that we must pursue a boycott. If the community unites to hurt Valve's income, it would become their best interest to address the demands of the player base. Again, this is not a campaign to harass people who purchase things from Valve, but to earn their support for our movement. If you care about the game, minimize your purchase for Valve, and courteously ask people outside of the TF2 sphere to do the same. The goal is to make Valve both aware of and motivated to add back the features lost in the Meet Your Match update. As this video comes to its closure, it is imperative you remember one thing. This movement will not succeed without unity. If we want to come together as a collective to change this beloved title for the better, division will not offer any incentive for Valve to act. At its core, we all desire the same thing, so it is time we demand it as one unified voice. If Team Fortress 2 means anything to you, take these values to heart and strike at Valve's bottom line. We all want to see better for TF2, and for that, we need unity.